I'd like you to get your calculator out, and we're going to take a second here to look at how you would graph a parametric equation on a calculator. So when you get your calculator out, I want you to go to mode. Depending on your calculator, the mode's going to be in different places. In fact, on the TI Inspire, you can stay in rectangular mode and still graph parametric equations, and I'll help you with the different types of calculators as we go. But I want you to change the graphing mode to parametric. And then when you go to the equation editor, then if you hit y equals, it's not only going to give you a y equals, but it's going to give you an x equals also. Okay, so is everybody there at the equation editor? We're going to graph this system of equations, so these parametric equations here. So we're going to have x as 2 cosine of t, we're going to have y as 2 sine of t, and we're going to allow t to range from 0 to 2 pi. We choose 2 pi here because 2 pi would be one period of cosine and sine, and that'll give us a complete something. So depending on your calculator, guys, you'll have to put the x and the y functions in. You'll have to put your t min and your t max. That's the terminology the 83 and the 84 use. You'll have to put your t step. And again, the t step, that's just how far it is between t values. So it's gonna start at the starting value, and it's gonna put 0 in for t, and it's gonna get a point. And then it's gonna step by this much, 0.13 in this case. So it's gonna go to 0.13, plug that in for t, get another point. Then it's gonna plug in the next one, about 0.26. Plug that in for t and get another point. And so the calculator is able to do this really quickly, obviously. And what kind of graph do we end up getting here? It's a circle. It actually is a circle. And we're going to do an example in a minute to show why this is a circle, why this equation gives us a circle. But this gives us a circle. So if you think about what's happening, let's just look at the cosine function real quick. So as t goes from 0 to 2 pi, what is the cosine of 0? Okay, so the cosine of 0 is 1. I'm going to write cosine here. So it starts at 1, it goes down to -1, and then it goes back up to +1, right? So at 0, cosine is 1. At 0, what is sine? It starts at 0, it goes up, and then it goes back down, right? And then back up. Sorry. Okay, so when t equals 0, then we have the cosine of t is going to be 1. So this coordinate right here is going to be 2 times 1. The sine of 0 is going to be 0, so it's going to be 2 comma 0, which is going to give us this point right here. Okay, then the x-coordinate is defined by cosine. So the x-coordinate is going to go down to -1, or in this case, it's going to go down to -2 and then back up to +2. While the sine goes from 0 up to 2 and then down to -2 and then back. So as the x-coordinate goes down, the y-coordinate goes up, and then the y-coordinate starts going back down while the x-coordinate still goes down, and it ends up going in a loop. So that by the time we get back to 2 pi, we get back to where we started. So the graph, and if you have a TI-83 or a TI-84, it probably showed you the graph. If you have a TI Inspire, it just puts the graph on there right away. It doesn't really show you what's going on. The other nice thing about graphing a parametric equation on your calculator, if you go to the trace, normally when you trace on a rectangular graph, it traces, you go to x values and then it'll tell you what the y value is. If you go to trace for a parametric equation, you can go through different t values and figure out what x and y are. So it should show all three of those on there.